Hi guys, back with the third journal. Hope I'm not driving you all crazy. I just wanted to be able to get this done and then I can learn as I go how to make them better. So any feedback is appreciated. I know the lighting is probably horrible because it's raining right now and I've got like 100 lights on in here and it's still very dark and there's shadows. So hopefully you will be able to get an idea of what's in the journal at least. So as I said in the other videos, if you haven't watched, I am doing 3 journals. This one is one of them that is part of a Summer Sisters series is what I was calling it. This one is a piece of wallpaper mounted on with a printable and some actual fabric and lace. So I do like that it kind of coordinates, you can't tell what's what. I believe this printable is from Rachel and Roxy Creations. Her printables are really beautiful. They look, you know, you could tell that they're scanned, but at the same time you can almost feel the texture, which I love, because especially when you put real fabrics, it's now hard to tell what is real and what's not. And it just went so beautifully with that vintage wallpaper. The back is a piece of fabric, and I'm not sure if this is vintage. I'll have to check and see. I can't remember who I got that beautiful fabric from. Okay, and then what I did was I attached a letter, a vintage letter, a vintage postcard from 1908, and a picture. And the picture is sort of, in each one, the picture is what inspired me for these journals. So in this case, this woman sitting on a log with the palm trees inspired me. And so I feel like this journal will sort of tell her story. So when you open it up, I've got vintage ledger on the front. This is I believe it was an advertisement card attached with some washi. It was really delicate. Yeah, perfume. Sometimes the soap companies I noticed gave or fragrances would do their advertising and put them inside pretty, which almost look like a greeting card or something. They're really nice. And then I just made this kind of tuck notebook. So you lift the check up, and then there's just some coffee dyed paper that I just attached with a couple staples and some washi tape. So just a bunch of writing right there at the beginning. So whoever has this journal could kind of set the tone of maybe what they want the journal to be like. Inside, a mix of different papers that have been stamped and edged. This is coffee dyed paper that this batch that I made I love. It looks like it's hundreds of years old. So much so that some of them have some frame, which I thought was absolutely perfect for a vintage book. Some calling card, and this is a reproduction print from a needlework book, dictionary. Some matchbook and tickets that are authentic. And then I used some scrapbook paper and tucked a couple tags in with some stamping there, just so that there's lots of room to write and attach photographs or mementos. A telegram and a postcard in the back of that. Here's another picture of the girl in this book. I am not sure. She's just standing there posing, so someone's taking it. It looks like they're traveling and visiting somewhere. Again, I think I've said this in the other 2, but the girls that I imagined are wanderers and free spirits, but they're all very well established. This girl reminded me more of someone who, she had beautiful handwriting to me, and you know, I just get a picture. When I look at old pictures, I love to just sort of imagine how their personality would be. This is a real vintage bill of lading that, oh, It's thin and it feels beautiful in my hand. That kind of slides right in there. And then behind it is let me take that out. Behind it is a vintage postcard of City Hall, Kansas City. So I would imagine that this girl, when I thought of her, I thought this girl probably is from somewhere like Missouri or Kansas City, and she loves to go out and travel and see other places. This is actually an advertisement, but they used, but the picture I just love. So I think it's a photo. Yeah. Taylor's received first premiums. So it looked like they were advertising for a gallery, but this was an actual photo. And I think I've seen this girl's photo before. So I'm not sure if this is like they had stock photos that they used, but I just loved it. I thought she definitely looked like she could have been one of their relatives. Some scrapbook paper. Oops, I don't want to ruin that. I'll do that later. Okay. This is from a vintage book that, of course, has the most beautiful patina and age to it. This is a letter that is from the House of Representatives to a person, Miss McConville, and I just thought that was perfect because, again, the women that I imagine probably are independent and aren't afraid to write to the House of Representatives or do their own finances or whatnot. So I loved including some of this memorabilia to help meld the story. Another aged picture that is just wonderful. Part of a book, guest receipt, an actual button card that they got at Walgreens for 9 cents at the time. So it's probably from like the 50s, but I just thought it was cute in there. And then all that tucks behind that just kind of sits on a piece of cardstock. Here's another, the Miami Union Publishing Company to Miss Ethel Davis of Ohio. So again, you know, the idea of her having correspondence with companies and, you know, women of those days, especially at the 1950s, that may have been more unheard of. And so if they were a single woman, they probably had to apply for jobs and do all that stuff. I just love that idea. And here's a printable from Graphics Fairy that has these beautiful, I think it was a Shakespeare collection, but I loved just having one quote on the tag like that. Coffee dyed paper, some printable from my Porch Prints, and then behind it I put an authentic delivery slip. This one has a unique envelope in the middle of the signature that I made using an Artymaze collage printable, and I made an envelope out of a piece of cardstock. And let's see if I can open this with one hand. I just tied a sari ribbon, and then inside has just some paper that I bunched up so that she could write notes, or whoever has this journal, would like to put some of their trinkets or things that they've gathered from travels, maybe more postcards, photos, etc. And so it's just a ready-made envelope that they can use. They could take it out. I just thought that was kind of fun in there, and I love the colors. Artymaze's collages are completely done. Like, you don't need to do anything. It's fantastic. Let's see. And then this has authentic check. I think I have more authentic checks than you will ever imagine. So every book I do will have a bunch of checks in it. This is a piece of paper that I just added a sticker to and tucked it in this pocket. And I can't remember where I got that. I think that's paper. I'll have to look and see. I'll list all my favorite places where I get printables from. And okay, there's that. This is a garden seed packet that you can make. You can assemble from Graphics Fairy. You print it up, and I just put another Tim Holtz ephemera in there. This is a garden book. This just opens up, and inside is a piece of blank ledger paper. And then this is the back of that book page. Again, kind of going with like the moth, the butterflies, all those, I don't know, it just goes so perfectly to me with these bohemian colors. It's not quite gypsy, but it's definitely free spirit, and they all had a different vibe. This one had such a 1950s. I think the other one to me had a 1970s. So again, I just am inspired by sometimes the cover photo, and then I just add whatever I think coordinates with each journal. And then inside here is some authentic pieces, fabric tabs, and I believe all the fabric that I used, I believe, is vintage. The laces, I know this is, I'm not sure about that. But I think, I mean, you can kind of tell where it's really crocheted. That definitely would be vintage. Another pocket back here with, it just says Romani Life. This is a vintage from Graphics Fairy. And while I don't know that these girls were really true bohemian, I think they definitely had that spirit. So I liked including things that represented that. The colors just are perfect in that. Kind of made my own button card, cut it up, put it on what I wanted it to look like it had been ripped off of a piece of cardstock, because they usually were double or backed. And then some of my favorite vintage buttons on there. The back side of that needlework printable, some paper and tags. This is one of those Tim Holtz die cuts that I just didn't even bother to color, stamp, or anything, and just threw in because I love it as a silhouette like that. Stamped the edge there, and we are at the back page. So there's that. Let me see if I can show the back again. And then that's the front of this one. And that's how it looks on the side. Okay, hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for watching.